Howdy everybody in YouTube land. What we have in front of us today is a pair of MTX audio RT2600s. We got number one over here, which has almost all of the screws. And then we have number two over here, which has almost none of the screws, which is, so common. Anyway, so I don't know anything about them yet. I don't recall if I ever worked on any of these before. I've worked on a lot of MTX stuff, but I don't think I've ever worked on these particular ones. So, but here's the cool part about it. Made in the USA. Boy, that's a rare sight these days. Which means they're probably serviceable. Imagine that. Anyway, so again, what we do is my general rule of thumb when it comes to high current, high voltage devices like this. And because the car audio world is very unpredictable, first thing I do is I take it apart and I inspect the inside, and we, figure out which parts are blown and, all of that fun stuff. So, all right, we're going to start with number one. We're going to get you out of the way, and then we'll flip this over and start taking it apart. All right, so I got it flipped over, and, well, this thing looks very, well, I've been apart before vibes. I mean, this has been split open. Okay, again, I am not all that surprised. We've only got, 3 screws in here? End channel VFET. VFET? I've not seen VFET in eons. That's actually concerning because you can't buy those transistors anymore. They're not made. So I'm hoping it's like MOSFETs and not actually VFET, because I think Sansui made a hi-fi VFET based TO3 package style home amplifier for, many years ago. What, 70s? I don't even recall. But let's see here. Nope, I've never seen one of these. This is brand new to me. Of course. And it's very similar in design to a lot of the contemporary amplifiers of the time. Hard to say if these are bad or not. They might be okay. VFET. It is not a design that I am familiar with at all. No. See, it's Class AB. No surprise there. Let's check if the RCAs are broken from the board. It looks like they are. You can see the joint right there. Yeah, that's a problem. So this might actually be a simple fix. Famous last words. So, alright, what do we have here? Let's check the obvious. This looks very Rockford-like. No, not shorted. Not shorted. Nope. That one's fine. And what I'm actually doing is I'm going across here. Not shorted. So it's hard to say why this amplifier is in service, but so again, I'm going to go across the FETs here, which is to be expected. No, not shorted. Yeah. It's hard to point the camera while I'm working on this at the same time. Not shorted. Come on. Not shorted, so that's not shorted. Let's check you then. No, it's fine. Fine. Okay, I'm not seeing anything out of the ordinary. Outside of the fact that this RCA jack is completely got a broken connection there. And of course, it is on the input side, so maybe that's what it is. God, these things are solid. They don't move. Yeah, so I think what I have to do is... Oh yeah, that's not supposed to do that. No. Ooh, split. Okay. So, what do we have? Do we have a broken RCA jack? Is that what's wrong with this one? Is that what it is? Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Look at that. It is broker than here to... Yeah, that's definitely broker than me after a game of Monopoly. Yeah, so there's your problem right there. Well, that might be an easy fix. So, what I typically do with these is I will pull them completely apart. And then what I do is I unsolder them and I just grab like pieces of copper wire, you'll see, and then run those through and then anchor it all back down. But yeah, that's completely broke. That is why it's not, why it was brought to me. So there we go. That's an easy fix. And that should be it. But the problem is it requires full, complete disassembly of the amplifier, which is a pain in the ass. But guess what? Someone's got to do it. Alright, so we'll pull this thing out, glue it back together, and solder it all up, and yeah, that's it. And then I might spray these switches and potentiometers out, because I think this thing's old. Let's see, when was this made? 1999, yes. So it's not that old. Well, I say it's not that old, but 1999 was what? 24 years ago? So yeah, that's old. Alright, amplifier years, that's old. So yes, we've got bad connections on the RCA jack. So let's get this thing apart. And now that I got the board completely out, yeah, you can see the broken solder joints all over this thing. Yeah, see that? She's done. So I got to pull this thing out so I can actually work with it, manipulate it. I also need to glue the plastic back together so everything is functional properly, and then that thing should be fixed, I hope. Now, I don't know if there's any other problems, but it's hard to say. It's old, anything can happen. But step one is to get this completely off so we can fix it. Sure enough, as I suspected, not only is it broke there, but that pin's completely gone. And the other ones are not far behind, like that one's got a stress fracture, so the rear ones don't look so bad, although you can kind of see a little bit of something here, like right there. But I don't know. Yeah, right there. But I don't know if that's just... And that one broke. This one completely snapped off on me. So, yep. It's not a super big deal, but yeah, first steps, I got to get some glue in there and then clamp this thing together so I can glue that down, because this is going to keep being a problem if that screw doesn't have anything to grab to. Right? So I have to fix that. That is how we do it. So it's all glued together now, and I got that wire kind of like wrapped around and soldered on there, so we now have the connected ground. The only thing left is this one, which I'm not sure. I might surface solder that because this is the output anyways, so it's not that big of a deal. But that's how we do it. It's all good. So now I can install that back onto the board. And there we go. That is solid. It's not going anywhere. The ground's all soldered up. Everything's all soldered up. Soldered back here. I just had enough length to get solder to flow in, so we're good. Yeah, I just noticed that fan is actually broken. If the fan still works, I'm just going to leave it be. But yeah, that's kind of interesting to me. So anyways, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and get this thing back together. Not all the way together, just together enough. And then we'll hook this thing up and see if there's any sound, if it idles, and, all of that. So there we go. Alright, so we're all hooked up, we're idling, I got both speakers connected in, and we're running at about 1.6 amps, which is actually, yeah, there's some actual equalization issues, but I'm not surprised. But we're running around 3 amps or so, which is a little warm for a Class AB, but it's not all that uncommon, so here we go. Hopefully I don't get copyright struck with this one like the last one. Whoops. Tripping out the power supply. Seems to be working fine. And that is it. This guy is fully operational and working properly. Now, the transformer is a little bit noisy, and it's just because the core is loose. It's resonating a little bit, but it's not that big of a deal. But everything is working properly. All the controls are working. I had to clean out the potentiometer, especially the base control, because it was kind of all over the place. But yeah, so that is it for the first one. So now I think I'm just going to go ahead and get this thing put back together, and then we'll move on to the second one. Alright, so here is amplifier number 2. Missing some screws, not surprised there. I just took the screw out of the RCA cable jacks. Look at this. That seems very loose to me. So I'm wondering if we have the same problem with that one as we did with the other one. Wouldn't that be great? Because the first one was an easy fix. I like it when they're easy, because it gets old after a while when you have to replace, like, 32 MOSFETs on the power supply and all the resistors, and then like 8 output transistors on the other side. I mean, that gets old after a little while. Now here's the problem with these. So what happens here is these stupid screws, sometimes they'll get in the way, like right now where they're not screwed all the way down. But other times what'll happen is people will strip them out and little fragments of metal will be sticking up, and it won't let the cover slide off. So, like, there's a little bit of both occurring there, but we got it. We all good. Alright, so what do we have here? Okay, that seems to be nothing crazy there. Let's check underneath it. Nope. This guy's solid. No, it's not. At the bottom, see that? Yeah, you see that? That's a problem. So yeah, the solder joint is broken. The ground might be broken too, but I don't know. So, yep, it's got to come apart. Not surprised with that. One thing I will do real quick is, again, just like the first amplifier, we are going to test the output transistors and power supply transistors, just to make sure that we don't have any faults with the 2 output stages here. So we're good there, because what'll happen is these will short, and usually they'll short all throughout the transistor array. So I just do quick dry checks. This isn't the right way to do it, but when time is money, when time is patience, this matters. So when you're doing, because you're only going to make so much of a margin working on something like this, so you don't want to put a whole lot of time into it. Because something like this might be 75 bucks or something to repair to a customer, plus whatever parts might be. I mean, I don't know. It's really hard to say, but yep. Biggest thing right now is the RCA jacks, and I guarantee these need sprayed out, worked around too. This one's been replaced. And I was having troubles with the other one, but I was able to clean it. So yeah, this one's all Smashco twinkulated in too. Oh yeah, that thing's hosed. That is hosed. Got smashed in. So yeah, we got a little bit of work to do with this guy too. So let's get it apart. Alright, so this switch is Quirko twinkulated. It's totally non-functional. So I'm going to have to pull this out and see if I can't do anything with it. And if I can't, this thing may have to be bypassed to either low pass or mid pass or high pass, depending on how. Yeah, because that's an issue. Yep, this one actually does have the exact same problem. It's broken completely off. Yeah, I'm not surprised. This is actually fairly common because it's so, yeah, vibration damage or whatever else. It's just fatigue. So we'll fix that up just like the other one. And also, I've got to pull this switch out because it is completely screwed. So, and then clean these pots too. So pretty much just like the last one. I love easy fixes. Oh yeah, this thing's totally not savable. So the little phenolic base is just completely cracked apart, and it's causing these pins to be super loose. This thing's done. There's no chance of repair. So that's it. We're gonna have to either find another one of these, which good luck there because I don't have any parts boards, or it's junk and we'll have to bypass it. As soon as I took it apart, yep, that's done. There's no yeah. Now the problem with this is, the reason why I took it apart is I wanted to try to find and figure out the pin out. Well, that's not going to happen now. So in order to fix the other 2600, we're going to have to sacrifice this RT2200. So this is a low value amplifier, and the owner says, hey, you can take the switch from this one and go put it in the other one to make that one fully functional. And if you can, just bypass this to make it in full range only, and we'll just leave it at that. So I said, okay, we can do that. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to remove this board. We're going to pull this switch out. That way I can hardwire this amplifier to be full range only and just put this switch in the other amplifier. Alright, so I removed the switch, bypassed it into full range mode. You can't see the jumpers because they're on the bottom side. And I did find some dodgy solder joints in here, including where the fuse is and the terminal. So I went ahead and took care of all of that and the RCA jacks. But other than that, it seems to be working fine. So we're just going to put that back together, and now I have the switch to fix the other 2600. So that's what we're going to do. Now that we've shifted back to the other 2600, we can go ahead and put our switch on, because I believe that switch is the same one. So as soon as I put that in there, it should just fit, and it does. So that's what we're going to do. The other one is in like 1,000 different bits. It's busted up. So all right, so we're gonna go ahead and get that installed, and that's probably gonna fix this one. Now he said he wants to use the other one as a sacrifice, the 2200. I mean, this one's missing screws and stuff, so perhaps, I think we're missing a couple of feet too, so perhaps he can reuse all that stuff on this, because this amplifier is more valuable. So I don't know, we'll see. That'll be up to him, but I'm just going to go ahead and do my task, and we're going to move on. Got to spray that out. That works. Problem is, there's no way to get in there. Alright. I think we can button this one up. I'm going to let this run for a bit. And I think that's going to conclude the repair work on this pair of RT2600 MTX Audio Road Thunder amplifiers. One of them had the bad switch and the other one had the bad RCA block, if I remember correctly. These segments are several months apart, so it'll all be in one video, but as far as recording time, it's been 6-8 months. So anyways, so that's it for this video. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe and all of that fun stuff. Feel free to leave a comment if you have one. Until next time, guys, thank you for watching.